Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being truly well-informed. Today, we're taking a stack of fascinating posts from X and really extracting those crucial nuggets of knowledge.
Exactly, giving you a comprehensive understanding of today's most talked about topics.
Our mission is to cut through all that digital noise, connect the dots across, well, everything. Global politics, economic shifts.
Right, and even fundamental design principles and the subtle ways information actually shapes our world. Think of it as your essential update.
Yeah, curated for clarity and insight. We're going to explore how power, innovation, and perception are all intertwined in these stories.
The ones making headlines and even some, surprising everyday observations.
So let's just jump straight into it and unpack what really matters today. Kicking things off with a post from @WeakInstrument Ryan Cummings. He makes a truly jaw-dropping claim. If this is true, this is the largest public corruption scandal in the history of the United States, and it's not even close.
Wow.
Yeah, that's an extraordinary statement. What's the core issue he's highlighting here?
Well, what seems to be at the heart of this claim is a significant deal back in May 2025. It involves Sheikh Noon's firm investing a substantial amount, like $2 billion.
$2 billion, okay.
Yeah, into World Liberty Financial. That's a crypto startup.
Yeah.
And it has ties to the Trump family and Steve Witkoff.
Right, okay. I see the connection.
But critically, this investment appears to have coincided almost directly. I mean, the timing is key, with the White House approving the UAE access to advanced NVIDIA AI chip.
Okay, hold on. So if I'm connecting these dots properly, you're suggesting this looks like a potential quid pro quo, like a this for that exchange.
That's certainly the implication being raised, yes.
Yeah.
Right at the intersection of private financial interests and national security policy.
And the New York Times brought this to light.
They did. They noted the timing, which was during a Trump visit to the UAE, where something like $200 billion in agreements were being discussed.
So this raises very serious concerns then, doesn't it? Especially considering past U.S. export controls on this kind of tech.
Exactly. You remember Biden's 2022 restrictions?
No.
They were specifically designed to curb military advancements by limiting access to these very AI chips.
So that's a massive policy pivot then. If the UAE's G42 tech firm gets this kind of access, especially to scarce AI chips, I mean, that could dramatically reshape the global AI landscape, couldn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
What does this all mean for national security and, the delicate balance of power and tech moving forward?
Well, it creates this really complex web of implications. On one hand, you could argue it fosters closer economic and tech ties with a key ally.
Okay, the positive spin.
Right. But on the other hand, it introduces pretty significant national security risks. Handing over cutting-edge AI tech, even to an ally, requires extreme caution.
Because these chips could be leveraged in ways we don't want.
Precisely. Ways that could challenge U.S. interests or destabilize regional security. That's the paramount concern.
So the core insight here.
It's that when private financial interests intersect so directly with national security policy, especially involving super advanced technology, the potential for, well, unprecedented corruption and geopolitical risk just escalates dramatically. It's definitely a deal demanding rigorous scrutiny.
Okay, moving from those weighty matters, let's explore a fascinating shift in economic policy. Our next story comes from @UnusualWhales.
Ah, yes.
Reporting, breaking. Trump companies and corporations should no longer be forced to report on a quarterly basis. I mean, this would be a really fundamental change, wouldn't it?
It absolutely would. This reflects a proposal from Donald Trump to shift corporate financial reporting, from every quarter to every 6 months.
6-month basis.
Right. And it isn't just an isolated idea. It seems to be part of a broader policy push we might expect under his second administration, starting January 2025.
Aimed at reducing regulatory burdens.
Exactly. Reducing perceived burdens on corporations. There's even an executive order mentioned from February 2025 ensuring accountability for all agencies, which sort of underscores this deregulatory direction.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, especially for anyone, invested in the market or just following the economy. This proposal directly challenges the traditional U.S. financial reporting system. I mean, that system's been anchored by regulatory programs, providing critical, regular data on corporate health for ages.
That's right. That quarterly data is vital. Analysts, investors, even national economic assessments rely on it.
So changing this isn't just about making things easier for companies, is it? There are bigger implications.
Precisely. While the intention might be to reduce the administrative load, the impact on market transparency and investor confidence could be, well, pretty significant.
So what's the argument for it then?
Proponents argue that longer reporting cycles could free up management, let them focus on long-term growth instead of just hitting quarterly numbers.
Right, less short-term pressure.
Yeah, and there's some comparative data, say from economies like China, that might support that viewpoint. But the counter-argument is strong too.
Which is?
Less frequent reporting means less real-time information for investors. Makes it harder to make informed, timely decisions.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, whether you're an investor or just trying to understand the market?
Well, it really raises that important question. What are the trade-offs here? You're balancing reducing burdens for corporations against maintaining critical transparency for investors and, frankly, the overall health of the market.
So the key takeaway.
It's this tension, right, between fostering business growth and ensuring market integrity. Fewer reports might cut costs for companies, sure, but it could also reduce the visibility that everyone, from retail investors to big institutions, relies on.
Yeah, visibility to assess financial health and make those decisions.
Exactly. So it's a policy that could fundamentally alter how much information you have at your fingertips. It really touches on the very structure of our financial system.
Okay, let's shift gears now. Something foundational, not just in tech, but really in how we approach any large-scale project.
Gall's Law.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At Vladimir Olsia, a Java champion, shared this gem. As a software engineer, it's very important to learn about Gall's Law, which states that complex systems cannot be created successfully from scratch. In reality, even large systems, such as Netflix, Google, or Facebook, have started small and built incrementally. This really challenges how we often think about starting big things, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Gall's Law, which John Gall first wrote about way back in his 1975 book Systemantics, it basically posits that complex systems almost always evolve from simpler working models.
You can't design them perfectly complex from day one.
Exactly. You can't successfully design them from the ground up in their full, intricate form. And, extensive research backs this up. Studies in systems engineering consistently show the vast majority of successful large-scale software projects.
They started small.
They started with minimal viable products, MVPs. Then they iterated, grew over time. It's a principle that directly contradicts that common, maybe intuitive assumption that big projects need big, complex starts.
So what does this mean for anyone tackling a big challenge, like outside of software? A business, maybe, or even a community initiative?
Well, it applies broadly. Think about Netflix, like the Post mentioned. They didn't launch as the streaming giant we know.
No, they were mailing DVDs, right?
Exactly. A simple DVD rental service in 1997. It was functional, maybe small, but it worked. And they built on it incrementally, adapting, adding complexity over years and years.
That makes sense. So it's about evolution, not just creation.
Precisely. And it's not just business. Studies looking at product development, even in fields like aerospace engineering, found that adopting incremental prototyping significantly reduces errors, improves outcomes.
Wow, even in aerospace.
Yeah, it's a powerful validation of adaptability, of evolution, over trying to get everything perfect with some grand initial complexity.
So the core insight here for basically any project.
It's that successful innovation isn't really about starting complex. It's about mastering that iterative growth from a simple functional core. It's about letting the system evolve, rather than trying to create it perfectly all at once.
Okay, our next piece of news. This one comes with a powerful message for free speech advocates. At Calais is reporting. Breaking. Huge win. This has now been removed. The passport revocation provision did not pass.
Yes. That caused quite a stir.
It sounds like a significant victory. What exactly was this provision, and why was its removal such a huge win?
So this huge win refers to the successful removal of a really controversial clause. It was part of H.R. 5300, a State Department reauthorization bill.
And the clause itself?
It would have given the government the power to revoke passports of U.S. citizens, specifically for criticizing certain foreign policies, particularly those related to Israel.
Wow. Okay, I can see why that would cause backlash.
Oh, the public backlash was immense. It highlighted really grave concerns about infringing on fundamental free speech rights. This provision was initially proposed by Representative Brian Mast just recently, September 2025.
So its reversal is genuinely significant then?
Absolutely. A victory for civil liberties advocates, for sure.
And this isn't happening in a vacuum, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned escalating tensions.
Exactly. It follows a pattern. It reminds us of similar instances like Secretary of State Marco Rubio's prior decision to revoke visas for pro-Palestinian activists.
And historically.
Well, organizations like the ACLU have documented numerous legal challenges over the years to measures seen as anti-free speech. Things like anti-BDS laws, that's boycott, divestment, sanctions. The outcomes have been mixed, but the fight is ongoing.
So this pushback against the passport clause really highlights that tension.
It does, that perennial tension in U.S. policy. On one side, you have arguments about protecting national security, maintaining diplomatic prize,
And on the other,
the fundamental constitutional right to free expression. Even if that expression is critical of foreign policy or critical of allies, the sustained public outcry here clearly show that a lot of people felt this specific measure just crossed a line.
what's the core insight we should take away?
It's about that constant, delicate balance required to uphold free speech in a world full of complex geopolitical sensitivities. And, perhaps just as importantly, this win reinforces the idea that citizens actively defending their rights can actually influence legislative outcomes, even on really sensitive international issues.
From policy debates now to human compassion, we have a truly moving story from Ascot National.
Oh, this is welcome news.
It really is, they report. Breaking. The first children coming to Scotland from Gaza for medical treatment have arrived.
Yeah.
The health secretary confirmed they had landed safely along with their families. Amid such difficult circumstances, this is great to hear.
It absolutely is. Their arrival marks a pretty significant expansion of a UK government evacuation scheme, one that was initially launched back in August 2025.
So this builds on earlier efforts.
Right. It builds upon earlier, often smaller-scale private efforts, by organizations like Project Pure Hope, and it signifies a crucial shift, really, from primarily charity-driven aid to more robust state-supported initiatives.
Which became necessary because of the situation on the ground.
Critically necessary, yes.
Huh.
Given the dire situation in Gaza's healthcare system, WHO data from May 2025 indicated 94% of hospitals were damaged or non-functional? Just devastating.
So what does this mean in the broader context? This initiative in Scotland, aiming to treat up to 20 children with critical conditions. It's obviously a crucial humanitarian step.
Undeniably.
But it's also sparked some debate internally, hasn't it?
It has. Scotland's own NHS, their National Health Service, is grappling with record-high waiting lists. So, understandably, questions about resource allocation come up during an already challenging time.
It's a tough balancing act.
It is, and it also highlights the varied international response.
Right.
While Scotland is stepping up now, some critics have noted that, neighboring Islamic countries haven't offered similar large-scale medical evacuation aid to date.
Interesting. But others have.
Yes. Italy, for instance, has been quite proactive. They've evacuated dozens of Palestinian children for medical treatment since January 2024.
So the core insight here.
It's that while these individual acts of humanitarian aid are incredibly powerful and important, the overall international response to a crisis like Gaza's is often, a complex patchwork.
Reflecting different priority.
Different priorities, different capacities, different political considerations among nations. It just reminds us of the many, many layers involved in international compassion and the debates surrounding it.
Okay, let's take a quick moment for something a little more everyday, yet surprisingly insightful. Maybe even genius.
All right, I'm intrigued.
From @Greg, 16676935420. Greg, we have this. Invention idea. A toaster with a glass side so you can see how toasted your toast is while you're toasting it.
Yes. Why isn't this standard?
Exactly. Honestly, it's brilliant. Why don't all toasters have this feature by now?
It really is one of those ideas that makes you slap your forehead and wonder. And, the concept itself isn't entirely brand new.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Way back in 1909, the D12 toaster by Frank Shaler used exposed heating elements so you actually could see the toast. And today, you actually can buy products like the Dash Clearview toaster. It offers exactly that, a transparent window, adjustable browning levels. It's a beautifully practical solution to a very common morning frustration.
We've all been there, right? Peering into the slots, trying to guess.
Absolutely. Burnt edges, pale center, the usual.
And the fact that other innovations are happening, too, like that Instagillo Revolution toaster with its rapid searing. It shows there's a clear demand for smarter toasting, doesn't it?
It really does. It challenges that traditional opaque toaster design we just accept.
So what stands out to you about why simple ideas like this can make such a difference?
I think it really highlights how everyday frustrations can drive practical innovation, often just by re-examining designs we take for granted.
Like the opaque toaster box.
Exactly. We accept it because that's just how they've always been. But sometimes, the simplest tweaks, like adding a window, deliver the greatest value. They enhance the user experience profoundly.
So true innovation isn't always complex.
Not at all. It's often about elegant solutions to those persistent little problems we all face.
Okay, for our final deep dive today, let's turn to a really powerful observation from Adats Kaizen DSEDU.
Okay.
He states, realizing how much distortion there was of Charlie Kirk's message is making me question how I consume information all over again.
This speaks to a huge issue, doesn't it? One we all face every single day.
It really does. This post reflects a growing awareness, I think, of how easily narratives can be manipulated, how our perception of public figures can be shaped, often by highly curated content.
And this realization, for Kaizen, was triggered by Charlie Kirk's recent assassination. Yes, on September 10th, 2025, his death, tragically, really brought to light how often out of context clips, particularly on platforms like TikTok, had been used to significantly distort his public image and his actual message.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah,
it just underscores the challenge of consuming information responsibly in this digital age, right?
absolutely. Research consistently shows that a large chunk of young adults, often those aged, say, 15, 25, form their opinions primarily from these short social media snippets.
And they frequently miss the full context.
They often miss the full context of what was actually said or meant. And Kirk's death has, ironically perhaps, sparked renewed debates about media ethics, platform responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, reports indicate a notable increase in fact-checking requests since the event.
So what does this incident really highlight for us?
It highlights the critical need for deeper engagement. We need to go beyond the quick takes, beyond the sensationalized headlines, the ease with which narratives can be shaped, and conversely, the real effort it takes to challenge them. That's a defining feature of our current information landscape.
So the core insight for everyone listening.
It's that critical consumption of information.
Right.
Seeking out full context, looking for diverse sources, being aware of how content can be clipped or decontextualized. It's not just a good practice anymore, it's an essential skill.
Essential for navigating today's media ecosystem.
Exactly. It's a constant battle against the echo chambers and the distortions that can so easily misinform us if we're not careful.
And that wraps up our deep dive for today. Wow, we've explored everything from staggering political corruption allegations and major shifts in economic policy.
To the fundamental laws of system design, those critical free speech victories, international humanitarian efforts.
Even a brilliant everyday innovation with that toaster, and finishing with the ongoing battle against media distortion.
It's been quite a tour through a truly diverse and dynamic digital landscape today.
It really has.
And this deep dive is just a powerful reminder, isn't it, that the ability to synthesize information, to question assumptions, and to critically engage with different viewpoints is more vital than ever. The world's full of nuance.
Yeah, understanding it means looking beyond the surface.
Definitely.
So what does this all mean for you as you scroll through your own feeds today? How will you navigate the shifting sands of information and narratives, whether it's on X or just out in the wider world?
Will you pause, dig a little deeper maybe, question things?
Seek out the full picture. We hope so. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.